kids in the United States are tracked at an early age, and this disables them to take classes that desire, and also it does not push them to their full potential.
There are kids that move faster and learn faster than other kids, but if they are capable of taking more advanced classes, they should have the opportunity to prove that out.
Like in general classes, you're learning a lot less than what the advanced kids are learning. They're learning like different ways to do things and better ways, more efficient ways than what general kids are learning.
I think it depends what level you're at for that, because like when I was in 6th grade, I was in 7th level. Then like 3/4 of the year, I got moved up a level. But I was also a lot younger. Like, I think it'd be really hard to get in high school.
Well, on the schedule cards, like you can pick what class you want to be in, and your teacher can sign off. So it's like you can choose to put down on your schedule card one thing, and the teacher disagrees. Like then you can describe your case and what you want for it. So I think that students, they have the option, but most of the times they're just, lots of kids, they just lean into the, oh, like I'm already in this track, might as well take it. But there's lots of kids that don't question it when they could, they can get what they want.
I wanted to take the dual credit with calculus next year, but the only choice I had was AP calculus.
Yeah, and some teachers don't let you choose what you want to do.
I had that happen, I think it was going into my junior year. I didn't want to be in the class I was going into, and I told the counselor that, and we discussed it for a little while, and we came to the agreement that I didn't need to be in the class that the teacher signed me up for. So ultimately, you have the final say on what you want to do going into that, but I don't feel like everybody realizes that they have that kind of power. People think that when a teacher initials a certain spot, that it's them signing off when it's really just them giving their recommendation.
I know 2 people, they got put in general and English and they wanted to be in advanced, but like their math scores weren't high enough. So they went to their counselors and, the parents called and said that they wanted them in advanced. And so they put them in and said if they couldn't do it and it was too hard, they would just switch back to general. So I think that even if your scores aren't high enough, you should still get a chance to try it if that's what you really think you need to be in.
With the tracking system in place, it's just already starting to separate and segregate these kids into different places.
I feel like part of the problem with the system itself as it is right now is directly levied against the lower class and the upper class people, but it is also at a certain point necessary because some kids just learn different rates than other people, so it needs to be segmented, but not based upon racial lines. We need to find a way to have a middle balance between the 2 of those.
Yeah.
The problem with general and advanced classes is that they cause people to stay in their same level for their whole lives. I mean, once someone takes a general class, they'll be at that same level until they can test out of that class. So I feel like the best way to resolve this issue is if we can somehow mix general and advanced classes together. And I think that way advanced students can help the general kids learn better. And I also think that they'll help the general kids push themselves more to try new things and to see if they're capable of new things.
I think motivation is what gives you the score. Motivation is what keeps you at night studying to get a better grade. And that's what will minimize this gap altogether. How would you get students to focus on what they're doing more and get better scores? And also with a more adjusted view on diversity.
I had to find motivation just to get to some classes last year. I had tons of AP classes, and I'm going to go into a world of art and I'm going to be a dancer. So that's how I was able to contextualize physics for myself and math, learning about how angular momentum works, and also artistry, reading classical literature, find inspiration for stuff like that. So if we can find a way to target motivation to each individual kid, that would be able to really help with Clinton's plan of being able to motivate people to just do better on their own.
I believe that the root of this problem is from America's culture. So in the book that we've been reading in class, Kim, who is the girl who goes to Finland, she noted that in Finland, everyone values education. Everyone works hard in school.
When nothing's asked of you, you sort of feel like you have nothing to offer. So if we ask more of kids and we don't have to cuddle them like Caroline said, then that would also help us to develop that intrinsic motivation within ourselves.
Yeah.
To that you want to do this for yourself because you want to make somebody proud of you, somebody that does feel proud of you.
Because I have this one friend, and she's African American, and so she's the top level math, and the top level English classes and everything. And then there's So what African Americans could say like, oh, you're being too white, like you're not being like us, like, you know, you're not supposed to be like them, like, you know, you're like making fun of like your like origins by taking like conform to like the white society and things like that.
And I think that's where we should start. Like what you said with the teachers, like teaching them motivation and teaching them to have the schedule. I think we should also teach them about culture and heritage in America because we are the melting pot. So we need to show like respect for all of them. And then we also need to like break down stereotypes that start young.
There was something you said earlier that things are supposed to be this way. And you were talking about the different stereotypes. And that's probably one of the biggest, in my opinion, one of the biggest reasons for all these different gaps in people acting this way. People believe, I'm white, I'm supposed to be this person. I'm black, I'm supposed to be this kind of person. And like you said, a guy even came up to your friend and said, you're supposed to be black. You're not supposed to go to these classes and do these things. Well, if we get away from things supposed to be one way and just be that way, I feel like that could change a lot of this kind of gap instead of it just being this culture's this way, this culture's supposed to be this way.
I think it's all based on what socioeconomic class you come from. I mean, I know that a lot of people who come from a low socioeconomic status may not feel as motivated because they haven't really seen what life can offer for them if they work hard. And similarly, a lot of people in high socioeconomic status may also not want to work hard because they think they have everything and they might not be as motivated. So I think we need to find a way to motivate students from a young age that regardless of what class they're in, they can still be successful in life if they can take control of their own futures and make these decisions for themselves.
How would we get kids to develop eccentric motivation? Because in today's society, I feel as though only they have eccentric motivation.
Go ahead. So I think there's a few ways to do that. So specifically me, I think Alex can agree to this. You know, I am an artist and so is Alex. I'm a musician and Alex is a dancer. So I know every single time I pick up my instrument, I am competing with myself to be better. So are all the other instrumentists in the state. So in motivation, I have motivation specifically for improvement because it's competitive. That's a key thing that we can apply and we can push. We can say, okay, we're all in this various class. We're in general, advanced, AP, but increasing the emphasis on pushing ourselves towards improvement. I do this to get better because it's difficult as well. So it's challenging for me, and that always there's something to work on. So I'm competing with myself and there's always something to work on constantly.